There are moments in a man's life when silence speaks louder than any word. So when you're sitting across from someone, heart pounding, palms cold, but your eyes locked with hers, in that moment, you're not just seeing a woman, you're seeing something sacred, a reflection of your own depth, your own fears, your own longing to be truly known and accepted. But too many men approach this with neediness, confusion, or worse, manipulation. That is not strength. That is not love. That is not power. True power is calm. It is the stillness behind your gaze, the quiet certainty of who you are, and the discipline to want her but not need her. You do not chase love. You rise into a version of yourself so steady, so focused, so emotionally grounded, that love finds you. If you want to connect with a woman, and not just in body but in soul, you must understand one thing. Real intimacy is not built in bedrooms. It's built in your mind, in your habits, in your character. Intimacy is not physical first. It is mental, emotional, and spiritual. And that kind of connection is not for boys who seek thrills. It is for men who have mastered themselves. Once, there was a man named Eli who lived most of his life in isolation, and not because he was alone, but because he was misunderstood. He had chased the wrong kinds of love his entire youth, always seeking validation through others, quick flings, shallow words, temporary warmth, until one day, after yet another failed relationship, he went to a small cabin in the mountains. He stayed there alone for months. No phone, no women, no distractions, just him, the cold wind, and his thoughts. There, he broke, and there, he began to rebuild. He wrote down every time he had lowered his standards just to feel wanted, every time he had stayed quiet when he should have spoken, every time he gave pieces of himself to someone who never earned them. And then, for the first time, he forgave himself. Eli learned that women are not impressed by noise. They're moved by presence, real presence. That stillness when you look them in the eye and you're not trying to impress, seduce, or perform. You're just there, completely in control of yourself, comfortable in your skin. A man who has nothing to prove because his life already speaks for him. When he came back from the mountains, he didn't try to get women. He simply became a man who was deeply rooted in purpose. He built his business. He read daily. He meditated at dawn. And when he met her, truly met her, he didn't try to win her. He invited her into a life he had already built. That is what drew her in. And that is the path for every man who wants to connect with a woman deeply and respectfully. Not tricks, not tactics. Transformation. Women are not puzzles to be solved. They are mirrors. They reflect your energy, your state, your chaos, or your peace. If you are impatient, unsure, or emotionally chaotic, they will feel it. They may smile politely, but something in them will pull away, not because they don't want love, but because they don't trust what's being offered. But if you're calm, secure, and aware of yourself, if your words are slow and your presence feels grounded, she will notice. Not immediately, not always consciously, but something in her nervous system will relax around you. She will feel safe, not because you said the perfect thing, but because you are real. And nothing is more rare in this world than a man who is real. Before you try to win her heart, ask yourself this: do you know your own? Have you mastered your mood, your mind, your mouth? Can you sit in silence without reaching for distraction? Can you feel an emotion fully without acting on it like a child? These things matter more than pickup lines or charm, because women are not looking for boys who pretend to be confident. They are waiting for men who are. Do not fake interest in what you don't respect. Do not pretend to listen when your mind is wandering. Do not say what you don't mean just to keep the peace. A man who values truth over approval is a man who commands respect, even from women who don't choose him. There will be times when you are drawn to a woman who doesn't feel the same. That is not rejection. That is redirection. Do not beg for love, ever. Walk away with dignity. Let your silence speak. Let your absence show her what she couldn't see in your presence. A woman may not notice a weak man leaving, but she will always feel a powerful man's silence. Your power lies in your ability to walk away, and not because you don't care, but because you care enough about yourself not to stay where you're not deeply valued. Don't confuse access with intimacy. Just because she laughs at your jokes or shares her stories doesn't mean she's ready for your soul. Don't overshare too soon. Don't try to impress her with your pain. Let her earn it. Let her curiosity grow. Let her feel that your depth is not freely given, it's reserved for the rare and the real. Sex without respect is an escape, but sex with deep emotional connection is a sacred exchange, and for that to happen, she must trust you, and not just with her body, but with her heart, her fears, her insecurities. That kind of trust is not mined with flattery. It's built over time, through consistency, through integrity, through the energy you bring when no one is watching. Your goal is not to sleep with her. Your goal is to be the kind of man she dreams of being touched by. Be the kind of man who makes her nervous, and not because of your looks, but because of your energy. Make her second guess her old patterns. Make her realize that maybe, just maybe, not all men are the same. But don't do it to impress her. Do it because you've done the work. Because you've earned your peace. Because you've burned through your neediness, your pride, your game and what's left is simply a man who's enough. The right woman doesn't want a perfect man. She wants a present one. A man who doesn't run from emotion. A man who feels anger but doesn't lash out. A man who feels desire but doesn't grovel. A man who loves deeply but never loses himself. You don't need six-pack abs. You need self-respect. You don't need a mansion. You need mastery over your mind. You don't need to chase her. You need to chase your higher self. And the woman who is aligned with that energy broken bar, she will come. Maybe not today, maybe not this year, but when she does, she will know instantly, she is safe here. And when that day comes, when she stands before you, vulnerable, open, unsure, you remember this: you are not there to impress. You are there to witness, to hold space, to protect, to honor. And in doing so, you will not just have her body, you will have her trust, her respect, and her soul. That is the connection every man craves but few ever earn. So do not rush the process. Do not chase the outcome. Build yourself. Forgive your past. Heal your wounds. And when you are holy and not perfect, but holy, invite her into your peace. Because real intimacy begins when you no longer need her but you still choose her. And that is when you become truly powerful.